That brings me to this very important task. Anybody recognize these? As a parent of 7 kids, I find these things super annoying because why on earth would you pay to carry something around in your pocket that is needy, right? That needs things. I need you to play with me. I need you to feed me. Even if feeding is just pressing a button, it doesn't actually involve like making a gallon of macaroni and cheese to feed everybody. Um, it's kind of a pain. But this is a really great example of something that you can use object orientation for, because you can create a hunger scale and a boredom scale, and you can take a turn where the pet, the Tamagotchi, gets a little bit more hungry and a little bit more bored each time. So if you don't play with it, then it runs away, or I don't know. Some of them have the pet dying. I feel like that's a little bit harsh. So uh, in the example code I give you for our Sandbox challenge, which is right here, you download that. I'm not asking you to start from scratch. Okay, so there's a substantial amount of code there already. But the example code, if you open it up, looks like this. You can see I'm importing random, and I'm creating a class called CLPet. It has an initialization string. It has an initialization method and a string method. It has a method called takeTurn. In the takeTurn method, a little bit of time goes by, and your pet becomes randomly more bored and more hungry. And if it becomes too bored or too hungry, it runs away and leaves you, or otherwise it just says it's really bored or really hungry. It also has a feed pet and a play pet. So you can feed the pet, you can play with your pet to make it less bored and less hungry. It has a menu here and a full structure with lots and lots of comments, because this is how you feed the pet, which is totally complete. It actually works already. And the play with your pet is empty. So this is the option. I want you to implement the ability to play with your pet by looking at the feed pet option here so that you can do both. There's one other thing that you need to do, and that is you need to implement the take turn method. And the take turn method needs to happen probably for each pet each turn. Okay? So what I would suggest is that right here, you're going to add something like, because this is at the end of each turn, it does all of this. This is what removes them from the list. We're going to say obpet dot take turn. There we go. And that's it. Now it'll adjust the hunger and boredom before it decides whether to remove them from the list or not. So let's run this with that one change. Okay, so welcome to the pet store. Here are the options. Let's adopt a pet first. We don't have any yet. What's the pet's name? George. Ooh, that's bad spelling. There we go. George. Okay, so George is already hungry. That's a bad sign. Let's check on the pet. Uh-oh, George already left me because I didn't feed him. So maybe the difficulty of my game needs to be adjusted a little bit. Let's do that. So we can come back up here and we can be like, okay, when we create the pets, they have a boredom and hunger of 5. Maybe we'll start with 10 just to give ourselves a little bit of a breather here. Okay, so let's adopt a pet. George. Time passes. Let's check on the pets. Okay, so George has hunger and boredom of 8. So if I want to feed George, I can't play with him right now because it's not implemented, but I can feed him. So I choose which pet do I want to feed? I want to feed George because Uh-oh, boredom is looking really scary already. Let's feed him anyway. So feed number one. I fed George. Let's adopt another pet. We'll call this one Sam. And let's check on the pets. Okay. So each time passes for each pet. So I've got George, who's looking really bored. He's about ready to leave, and I have Sam. So if I keep checking on them each time, eventually George is hungry and bored now. I'm in trouble. Okay, so George took off because he was bored and hungry. And now you can see all I have is Sam in my list because George took off. So what you want to be able to do is adjust this game so that you can both feed and play with your pets. So you can see here, you want to use this code in the feed option, which is well commented, and use that to play with your pet. Okay, so you're not creating a class. You're welcome to change the class, to tweak it however you want. But all you need to do here is implement the take turn and also the feed pet or the play pet methods so that the game is complete. So I'm just giving you a little bit of exposure to using an existing class and working with that class in a real program scenario. What we'll do is we'll come back on Wednesday and we'll dig a little deeper into object-oriented programming, and I'll explain the assignment for Module 14. Okay, so that's where we're at, and you've got some time to play around with this if you want to, and that is the sandbox for this week.